Hey, I'm Raph,
I'm Ian.
And I'm Raph.
and we're Fugu Musk, and you're watching the Channa
Channa.
Channa podcast.
podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have a very special guest today joining all the way from Manila. We got members of Fugu Musk joining the podcast. Hi guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
So we got Raph, and Ian. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fine, given the stuff happening around
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Right. So how is this? I think we are kind of in a post-pandemic now, right? So how is the post-pandemic life?
Actually, we're still technically still under it because like there are so many rising cases here every day. Like even if though, like there are still gigs happening. Somehow like despite everything, we make things happen, which is good.
Right,
Um,
right.
it's fun.
Uh,
It's fun that way.
I mean, of course, cases are rising, but I don't think people really care about it now, right? That's what I feel.
Well, yeah, there's like a percentage of people who just wanna go outside to go to gigs and it's scary sometimes to think about
Right.
all the cases coming up again. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it feels good that it's starting to go back to how it was before.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Right.
I do get where some of them are coming from, since being cooped up at home, not being able to socialize with everyone, missing out on all the little things you used to take for granted before all of this stuff went down. I gotta get where they're coming from, but be responsible. If you know that you need, like, get your booster shots and everything, do society a favor.
Yeah.
just do it.
Just do it.
Right. So, as you said, there are a couple of live shows are now happening. Especially the local bands are getting a lot of support now, right? I think. I mean,
Oh
mainly
yeah.
maybe because there's no international presence yet, and but I think also people are so eager to go to concerts now, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like
Yeah, that's true.
after after 2 years of just being at home, like I think people are like really hungry for like music and live events. Seeing bands they enjoy like live with their friends. That's an experience you really can't replicate in an online environment.
Right. But I felt it's still kind of awkward. Like I face this a lot. Like you don't know whether you should shake hands or whether you should do a fist bump or whether you should hug. So sometimes you'll different people will do different things, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I mean, that's why we always
Yes.
bring alcohol. Cause like if somebody reaches their hand out, I'm not leaving them hanging. Like okay, I'm just gonna. All right, let's
It's
go.
the new handshake.
That's the
Yeah.
secret handshake. It has alcohol now.
Right. So guys, can you introduce yourself and let us know what you do in the band?
Hmm. I guess I'll start. I'm Raph. I sing and I play guitar in a little band called Fugu Musk, and here are my bandmates. Raph, you want to go first?
I I'm Raph. I'm the other Raph. I also play guitar, do little
Yeah.
vocals here and there, help Raph out with like arrangement and whatnot. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, probably the longest member he's had.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ian, go ahead.
And yeah. And sup, everyone. So I'm Ian. I'm the shortest member of the group. Not in a
Really?
physical way, but
Oh.
regarding tenure.
Yeah.
So yeah. And apart from playing drums, I also do the backup vocals for most of our songs
Yep.
and for one of our most upcoming songs as well. So that's basically everyone in the band.
Fun.
Yeah, I really like because you guys kept this, three-piece, very punk sort of a, thing, right? You have three members and everybody sings and everybody like,
Yeah.
contribute.
It feels great. Like, I mean, it's so good to have these two guys like singing with me because there's like less pressure on me as as a vocalist and as a person too, because like I don't know, with these guys I can always depend on them, and like
Also helps that we embrace the punk rock mentality, just
oh
keep it
yeah.
as simple as possible.
Punk's not dead.
Yeah.
we 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 actually figured that it was gonna be hard to do it on our own. So
Yeah.
we went for that route and just do it as simple as possible with the least amount of like stuff to go wrong.
Oh
And
yeah.
we embraced the punk attitude in that sense. Just do it our own
Right.
way.
Yeah. There's a lot of DIY when it comes to a lot of a lot of how we record our music. It's like, oh, I don't know, you guys can't see it, it's blurred, but like I have an entire microphone set up there because we actually
Right.
just finished recording some new material and
Yeah.
really excited for it
Right.
personally.
I also saw this clip on Instagram, like you were like screaming out of the
Yeah.
blue.
That was actually here. This is our de
Oh yeah,
facto band
Right.
that
in
room.
my room, yeah. We kind of
Um
Right.
like pool our resources together and just try to make stuff happen as we can.
yeah, so we can
Guys,
release music. Yeah.
so this last 2 years, this so-called pandemic years,
Yeah.
how was it for the band? I mean, I know a lot of people have different views. Some were negative. Of course, a lot of things were negative, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of positive things came out of it also. How do you feel about these last 2 years?
Hmm. I think for us as a band, like music wise, because Ian only joined us like earlier this year. So for that time during the pandemic, it was, me, Rap, and a couple of other band members. Actually, one of which is you saw in the Social House gig. Yeah. And it was a lot of it was a lot of weird times trying to figure out like how to communicate with each other, like, because what we're used to is like we're used to being around each other in real life and just talking about anything, really. And that was our communication, like we had zero walls. But like now, like with everything's online, there's like so many walls and it feels like it's not the same. So we had to figure out a way to talk to each other again properly. Because it's hard, it's hard like being online. um and if there's anything about being in a band, it's like having really good communication all the time, always. you know it's always a good thing. And listening to other people's experiences. So, Rap, how did that make you feel?
Well, yeah, it kind of made me realize that as people who play music and people, and we get this weird sense that we can steward people's emotions. Uh, a lot of people oftentimes keep to themselves, but like with what we're doing with our lives, it's more of like we get to express ourselves and other people can't. And we kind of went with like a spiritual journey over the
Right.
pandemic.
Oh yeah,
Like
it felt like
us,
that.
Yeah.
we were able to release like 3 songs before actually meeting each other in person
Yeah,
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It kind of felt empty listening to Raph's tracks and like
yeah.
without actually seeing him. So it was a lot to adjust to. But at the end of the day, we got to make it work, and now we're here.
Actually, yeah,
Yeah.
like even if Ian just recently joined us, like he's been helping us out like for a long time, like as a friend.
Yeah. So that's that's one thing the rest of the viewers should also consider, that um all three of us in this group, like we've known each other like even before this pandemic happened, like
Yeah.
during our college days, during our gigging days from our previous projects before. And um for during that pandemic, like it was one of my bucket lists to actually, like, to play with Fugu Musk with them in general. But uh prior commitments, this entire circus show of a pandemic, um it kind of hindered that for a while. And as most musicians would handle such things, yet we just practically had to go on with our lives, jobs and everything, trying to get by. But as soon as things started, um, calming down a little bit, like we jumped at the opportunity, like, dude, um, we have stuff we want to work on with you. That's what they told me. Can you help us with
Yeah.
this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. That was when, I was still doing freelance with them, just like as a sessionist drummer. And, you know, as time progressed, as, I started working on their, most recent releases, um, it became at least clear to me, like, yeah, no, I gotta check this off my list. I gotta see these boys again. I gotta play with these guys again. At least,
Yeah, dude.
and when that happened, like it all just snowballed from there. Now I'm a permanent member
Mm.
for my
And
friends.
we've been wanting to get Ian as a drummer for years at this point. I just have to say, okay, like during our Bugnet days, like dude,
Yeah, actually, for me, like this last 2 years, like actually given me like, as you said, there were a lot of self realization, and it's like kind of like a very long meditation kind of thing, right?
yeah,
So I kind of have this appreciation for even for little things, like even having a cup of coffee outside before, because we were not able to do it for some time, right?
yeah,
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
what I feel now is I don't think I want to lose any opportunities. I will take anything that comes in. I'll go to the gig. If something is happening, I will go and see
yeah,
it, because and I also have a, I don't know, it really changed my perspective after that, that I see, I've been talking to a lot of artists during the pandemic, and I see so much effort, and also the trouble that they go through, like their struggles, their mental health struggles, and all these. And there lot of musicians didn't get paid during the pandemic. They didn't have like paid work, but they still continue to make music. So I have a very, I don't know, I feel that I have a much more appreciation for it now. I think it's
mm,
a good realization that I came up with during the pandemic.
Actually, I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, it's you never know when things are gonna go wrong, so you might
Mm,
as well take every opportunity. Yeah,
yeah.
I get it.
right. So I think I don't know if I saw you guys on the April gig this year
Mhm.
in Social House. Was that your first gig this year, or
That was our first gig this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow? Actually,
Been a
but
that was
while.
like, I think for me also that was like a proper rock gig. Actually, I think I went to a couple of them, two of them before, but that was like the proper rock gig actually.
thank you.
And I came to see the Fragments, because I was familiar with the band Fragments, which you guys
Mhm.
played with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So how was it playing that, after so many, like, not playing together, and then Ian coming in as a new member, and how was that playing on that day, the
Hmm.
experience?
We went through about 2 3 weeks of rehearsals, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cooped up
whenever
to
people were free,
places.
yeah, about two weeks of rehearsals, and we did most of it in Rap's house actually.
Yeah.
Like he had,
Yeah.
we had a we had a sort of a weird setup of like small amps, and it felt like I don't know, it felt like not to make it sound bad, but it felt like my high school days when we would
Right.
do that in someone's house, and it felt great. You know, like without the time constraints of a studio, we got to be
Without the
ourselves
expense
around
of a
each other
studio, dude.
without the expense of a studio too. I mean, we got to be together, and and jam in like ways that we can't really do in with someone watching over us, like waiting for us to finish our time or something like
Mm.
that. No, like we got to be ourselves around each other, and
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's a big important thing for getting a band to really like gel together.
Yeah.
At least for us, that's how it works.
Right.
It's also been like a realization for us that it's easy to find people to play in your band, but it's really difficult to find people you can actually get along with.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Right.
It's like one of the unspoken rules to making a band nowadays. You have to make sure that people you play with are people you're willing to hang out after gigs with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golden. That's the golden rule, right? Unspoken rule, maybe. So guys, before we talk about the band and the music, can you guys tell me like what's the earliest memory of music you guys remember? Like,
Oh, I have to think back. Do you guys
Well,
remember?
I can probably
Oh yeah.
start with this one. Um, Earliest memory I've ever had regarding music was like I was still a very young child during those times. Um, First introduction and first instrument I ever laid my hands on was actually a piano, and that was in my cousin's place. And when that happened, I had no idea what I was doing because I was like what 3 or 4 years old when that happened. I was just like just pressing random keys and just making random sounds, and then all of a sudden like my dad just like went up to me and said like, "Do you want to hear what I used to play in the piano just for you to like stop crying?" And I'm like, "All right," and then he played it, and then when he played it like I fell asleep. And then so when that happened, like that was my first introduction to like music, to instruments, to like the wonderful colorful world of what that is. And as it progressed, like I even have like baby photos where like they gave me a kid drum playset where it's just one splash crash, two small toms, and then like a plastic beater for the bass. And then I destroyed it within the next 30 minutes. So that was like my introduction to being a drummer. After that, um, when high school finally kicked in, you're trying to find your place, you're trying to find where you belong, your clique and your groups. I started singing, which would explain the very deep voice I have. But I didn't pursue it because it became too superficial for where I grew up in with that. So I went a little I took a detour for something else. And that's when I was introduced to music like Linkin Park, the Slipknot, and all those influences. So all right, everybody here plays guitar. Everybody here can play a piano. Everybody here can play drums. But can anybody here actually be a DJ? So I did that. I actually bought I my like my relatives found out that I wanted to do that, so they bought me a new Mark Mixtrack Pro 2.
What?
I set it up on my laptop, and then I became a DJ for I don't know, for a scratch DJ. I've been doing that ever since my high school days. And then when I was about to graduate high school, I went back to my roots. I became a drummer. And like the first song I decided to practice on was actually Stricken by Disturbed.
Nice.
And then when all of that happened, I spent an entire summer, so that's like 3 months, like playing 126 songs for every day just for me to practice. And now you understand why the both of them wanted to get me as a drummer. Like for 3 months, every single day, from
He's like a
8 a.m.
god,
to
man.
8 p.m.
He's like
I
a
just
god.
play Slipknot, Falling in Reverse, Bring Me the Horizon, all that stuff on the drums. And then I honed my skills, and now I'm here. That's how my journey came in, how it all started for me.
Godlike.
What
Do
about
you
you
remember?
guys?
Uh,
Well, I mean,
I'm trying to
for
think.
me, it's a so yeah. While you think, I'll tell China about
yeah,
mine.
go ahead, Rap.
Start out middle school, grade school, essentially. My sister had this MP3 player, the ones where you had to plug it into a computer to put the tracks inside. ran
Right.
on a AAA battery. I actually borrowed it from her and never gave it back. I ended up putting in the the whole life album Green Day Bullet in the Bible. Every day I would listen to that track. It got to a point where when I'd listen to the actual album version, I'd actually I'd actually hear Billy Joe shouting to the crowd, even though there wasn't like, I got it ingrained in me. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then when high school came around, my parents asked me for a birthday gift since I got good grades and everything. I asked them for a Squire Strat and a 10-watt amp. From then on, I just you know just wanted to learn everything I could. I wanted to sound like what the recording was. I wanted to be able to play like that. And throughout high school, joined a lot of bands, went through a lot of phases. Even went through a Beatles phase where you just played cover songs from the Beatles. And then I was about to give up around start of college. Parents wanted me to go for architecture, which I did. And then part of me wanted to shift, so I went to music prod, and I was about to like sell my stuff actually, because like I was like thinking it was like a waste of money.
Mm.
I'm not playing. I have shit on the pedals. I have like a lot of amps, guitars, and whatnot, and it was my time to like decide whether I should like give this up and just be an architect or go for something else, which I'm more passionate about. And then one day went to class and I met this beautiful bastard over here.
Yeah, like literally right after that class, we went down and I was like, "Hey, we're classmates. Do you want to have a cigarette?"
And then one thing led to another, and you're like, you want to start a band?
Oh yeah,
I have songs on Spotify, and then we started listening to them. Those old school types of sharing things. I get
yeah,
the left ear, he gets the right
yeah,
ear. Just
yeah.
listen
Right.
there. And then one thing led to another, and I've been with him since 2018.
Yee.
So
uh,
Raf, what's your earliest memory of music?
my earliest. Okay. Um, my earliest memory is one day, like I was 6, around that age, and then my dad starts playing this really weird music, like out of nowhere, and it's you hear who is in the house, and apparently it was Limp Bizkit's hot dog flavored water album, the chocolate
Right.
starfish album, but I had no idea what the heck that was. I thought it was a monster. I thought there was a monster in my house, and um it took me years to figure out, like, wait a minute, this is Limp Bizkit. um and yeah, like it was around, like, I was around 12 years old, and I was starting to get into, I used to be a metalhead. Well, if you count new metal as metal, I used to be a metalhead. um
It counts.
I think it counts. Yeah, I think it counts. um I was listening to stuff like Linkin Park mostly, actually. um I, because I could relate to the lyrics a whole lot. I didn't really fit in well in school until this game called Guitar Hero came out.
Right.
Um, Guitar Hero 3, and everyone was talking about it. Everyone was talking about it, and I was like, okay, I don't see the hype. Like, I didn't have my own Guitar Hero controller. I didn't have my own, you know.
We
I
do
mean, I
now.
had a PS2. I had a PS2, but we have Guitar Hero now. We play Guitar Hero. We played Guitar Hero like a couple of weeks ago. But going back, yeah, like I didn't have a controller, and then I just realized, hey, what if I just learn the real thing,
Mm.
on actual guitar? Because like my brother had this thing lying around, and I was like, okay, so how does that go? You know, like literally every single. No, I didn't even play it like that. I played it like, the wrong key. But yeah, and then I show up to school one day, and I start playing these guitar, these new things that I learned all wrong. But like people are like, "Holy crap, Raph can play guitar!" Um, and like I honestly don't know if people still bullied me after, but it's fine because I didn't really care. I had something to focus on now. Like
Mm.
I I realized, hey, I actually want to make music, and I was inspired by all these bands like Linkin Park, Green Day, Nirvana, Queens of the Stone Age, a little bit of Metallica. Actually, no, a lot of Metallica. um,
Downstrokes for whoever.
oh yeah, Downstrokes, Five Ever, man. But yeah, eventually, like I went through a few like many bands like in high school, and the one thing that stayed constant was like this little project I had going on called uh which would become Fugu Musk. Um, and then I met this guy, and then through rap I met Ian, like, and we became friends, and then eventually just it just so happens that we're bandmates now, and it's beautiful, and I loved every moment of it. Maybe not every moment, but most moments. Most moments are
Right.
fine,
Uh,
but I don't regret anything.
Right. I love that you guys brought up the new metal thing because I mean a lot of people, I don't know, it's a stupid idea they look down on new metal, but for me personally, there was a period that I was drifting away from music, like I was not
Mm.
even listening to metal anymore. And then I think it was new metal actually got me back to listening, especially in Linkin Park, those
Yeah,
bands like Limp Bizkit. That's what really got me back into listening, and got me really interested of metal again, actually,
yeah.
right? So, and I think I really don't agree that it's not metal. It's purely, I think it's really metal, right? I
Yeah.
really love new metal as well.
Yeah. Like as a metalhead myself, I can at least attest to that. It's part of it. It's like it's a new evolution of what metal used to be.
Mm,
It introduced new sounds, new a new take for what it could be,
Oh yeah, and
and
it
like
brought new voices into like
yeah, like it's not all those like menacing screaming anymore,
yeah,
like like
you had the
it
raps, you had the
we have
samples.
raps and everything, samples, EDMs and everything, and like those were two concepts that you would never have thought would work for something like that, but it did. Like look at baby metal,
Mm.
right.
right? Like cutesy
Kawaii stuff.
J-pop, kawaii J-pop idol type aesthetic, and then like it's like 180 beats per minute, like
Yeah,
how
so
how the
good,
hell does that work?
so
But
good.
but it does, and like I really don't understand, the type of shade it gets, because like music is music. It always has, it always will be. So like just let them do their thing. It makes me happy personally, and it makes other people happy. So like keep doing it. Like I don't know, it's just a for us, well, at least for me personally, it's a very dumb concept to like ostracize and to like divide those types of things. When all in all, like you're just making music. You're just trying to
That's true.
you're just
No, I
trying to
think
put it out there.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that says a lot
Yeah.
about like how a lot of musicians might not think of pop as such a high ideal to
Yeah.
like in terms of musicality and everything. But I think pop is amazing, and
Yeah.
um, you know those bands like included a lot of elements of pop in their music,
Mm.
like Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit. Like you can't deny that. Like their stuff
Yeah.
is just so catchy. It's so good.
I mean, look at like the new ones, like the gent ones, like Polyphia. Like
Oh yeah,
Tim Henson wanted his guitar to like to emulate a rap sound, and that's what he did. And people actually understood that, and it sounds really, really amazing. You can't deny that.
To add to
Like
that,
even if
like
no one is singing.
yeah, and to add to that, like music in general is made to make people feel stuff,
oh
whether it's
yeah.
negative, positive. As long as you feel something, it's achieving its purpose. So
Yeah.
that's
And also what I also feel is that there's so much music in the world, so why do you just limit yourself to a
exactly.
certain
Yes.
genre or
Exactly.
something? So I mean, for example, just here I have a pile of CDs. It's like a, those narco series, you see the drugs, that like
Yeah.
the whole pile. It's
Yeah,
actually
Yeah.
just CDs.
That's amazing.
that's
which
amazing,
I when I'm just like, just browsing, I don't even remember some of those albums because I have bought them. I have not listened to some of them, but there's a lot of them. Yeah. So yeah, but guys, when I listen to, I saw your live performance. So when I listen to you, I mean, you have that pop, Green Day and all that, but also I feel a little bit of grunge as well. That grunge influence. So tell me about the, how do you like, what you feel about grunge?
Oh, I love grunge.
yeah. Even
Like
though it killed metal, yeah, I still have respect for it.
I love grunge. Like as I was saying, like grunge is like extremely, I wouldn't say extremely, but minimalist, like very minimalist music, heavy music,
Mm,
and it has a lot of peaks in terms of like the volume, but it also has a lot of lows in term. Yeah, a lot of dynamics there too. So a lot of really sudden dynamic shifts, like what you got with the Pixies, or what you got with Nirvana,
mm,
and what a lot of other artists have been like incorporating ever since. Well, they've been doing that before, but like not in a way that's so simple that you wouldn't. It's just really simple, and it's really pop. Like a lot of for example, a lot of Kurt Cobain's like influence. Like he had a lot of influences from the Beatles. He had a lot of influences from Aerosmith. He liked a lot of music from. He was an avid music listener, and
mm.
he took everything and just made it extremely simple, and added a lot of edge to it, and it became grunge. It became like his music with Nirvana, and eventually what would become grunge.
Yeah.
There's a
So I
lot of
would basically explain like how our music process would go, because like yeah, you for most of the songs that we released, especially since for the newer ones that I've also worked with them, like for all like the same way our predecessors have done it.
yeah
Um, that's how we also did it. Like we didn't tie it down to just like one specific genre for where we all came from. Like we wanted to see what mixes well with what. We didn't want to limit ourselves for what talk could be,
yeah
what Bloody Mary could be, what yuck could be. And lo and behold, like little by little we were discovering, what we were sounding like as a band together. And, you know, sure, it's a far cry from, the things I listened to, the things I used to play, but right now, honestly speaking, like it's as best as you can probably make it out to be with how we've been doing it.
yeah
And for all the things that we're about to do, like keep listening. You'll find out you might get more surprises along the lines for those types of things. You might hear more familiar things that, might evoke something from the rest of the viewers.
I think a lot of
Essentially, yeah,
you want to go first? No, you can go
yeah,
first.
yeah. We actually got to talk about this a while back. Like we're in the process of figuring things out with our music, and instead of like giving people who we are, we want to take them along with for the ride with us.
Mm.
We want to discover ourselves along with the people who listen to us. Like that's one of the things that we figured was like the most comfortable way we could express ourselves. We didn't want to be isolated to just one guideline or like one sound. We wanted to feel what we were playing instead of actually write what we were playing.
Yeah, like for us, like we try to get a lot of our sounds from feelings, not from
Mm.
genres. Um, like you know, how there. I used to write like we have to sound like X genre, but now it's now with these guys, I we all write, we have to sound like X feeling. We have to make this feel like, for example, we have to make this sound like angry, or we have to make this sound like you're you're walking through a hallway and everyone's looking at you, but you don't really care because you're just being yourself. And I think with what Rap said, like the part about self-discovery, and with what Ian said, it like getting a lot of eclectic influences from so many places, but finding a proper place for it in our music. I think it goes with like self-discovery. You don't limit yourself to I should be like this. It's hey, a lot of things can happen. So I'm going to be who I am now, but let myself shift and change as as things happen, like adjusting to new things, meeting new people, finding new genres of music to listen to. It's experiencing life. And it got so deep.
Yeah.
Right.
It got so deep, like all of a sudden.
But like yeah, one
114.
good example for what Raph was saying was when we recorded Yuck, we were recording it in Raph's room.
Yeah.
Um, he wanted me to record rhythm guitars for the ending part,
Mm.
and then by that time we already had lunch. I was kind of sleepy. The air conditioning was kind of cold,
Yeah.
so I was like, you know what? Grab me my guitar. I'll lay down on your couch
Yeah.
and
You
play
realize
the song. And then we were like, holy crap, this actually works. And
we
then
kept that take.
yeah,
We
and
kept
we
that
were like
take.
talking about how I was like trying to envision myself in like a van going to like a province and it's almost sunrise because you had to take the van there, overnight trip going there. And then
Yeah.
like you got that warm feeling, and then I was able to like play it into a song. And it sounds like power chords because it was just power chords, just four
Yeah.
chords over and over again. But we wanted to make sure that whether it was simple or like complex, whatever we played had like an emotion behind it. Because like
Mm.
we realized at the end of the day, no matter how hard we try to record something, if there's no emotion to it, people will be able to tell from your music.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. So Ralph, the project that you said you had the project and then it eventually became Fugu Musk.
Mhm.
Why Fugu Musk?
The
Fugu Musk.
name.
Yeah.
Okay, because since this project has been going on for like quite a long time, like I started this with a couple of friends back in 2010, but like it was a non-committal type thing. It was just more of a something to get us to like start writing our own stuff, and eventually we would split to different bands. But I was close to this one guy, in that group, and he was like, "Hey, I have an idea for the name of our group." And I was like, "Okay, hit me." He says, "I was in Makati last night. Makati, this city. Um, I was in Makati last night, and he was he was I was he says I was looking at the Japanese restaurants, and he saw like fugu on the menu,
Right.
and I don't know where exactly this was, but that same night he watched a movie called Megamind, and it had that fish-like creature there,
Right.
and there was a scene where there's a scene where Megamind says it's part of my natural musk, and then it just somehow, for some strange reason, it just clicked, like Fugu Musk, and that's what he told me. That's what he told me. That's what he told me how he got the name, and eventually when the group like sort of fizzled out, like I asked him, hey, is it okay if I keep the name? I kind of like it. And he said, yeah, keep it. It's yours. So here we are, Fugu Musk.
Right. So you guys release I can see in Spotify you release like 4 songs already,
Yeah.
right? So you have Talk, Bloody Mary, Nirvana Stickers, and Yuck. So the latest single Yuck, can you tell me about that song? I mean, Raf, I want to understand like what do you trying to say on that song?
Yuck for, well, like when I was writing it, it was like a desire to me putting in myself a desire to experience new things in life, to be more open, um, to be more in touch with my emotions, things like that. Um, and looking at the world not with rose-colored glasses, but with fresh eyes. Having that sort of childlike wonder when you see things like, wow, everything's magic. Because it's growing up, it's extremely difficult to see the world in the way you used to. Like, you would think you know you would think of memories as having like specific filters on them that make everything look shinier and shimmery and
Mm.
stuff like that, splendid. um so yuck for me is how when people look at that kind of behavior, they view it as like being eccentric or being childish. But for me, it's really not giving up on the fact that life can actually be beautiful. And that's what yuck is about. It's a reminder that, hey, um go live your life. It's beautiful. You can make it beautiful, no matter how hard things are. And yeah, that's how that's what it became. Yeah.
Right. When I mean, when I hear the word yak, I instantly, I mean, immediately get reminded of politics, because that's like, one of the most disgusting things in the world, right? Like, it's especially like I'm from Sri Lanka, originally from Sri Lanka. If you guys heard in the news that there's a lot of, stuff happening there, and it's
Yeah.
like the politicians doesn't like seems to be care about anybody else, other than themselves, right? So it's really disgusting.
I think the thing I like about you know the punk movement, or at least what it is now, like there are a lot of people who are willing to fight for each other because they feel a sense of like brotherhood, even if you come from so many different backgrounds. Like, this sense of community is there, and they all just give each other power to do things that some might deem uh some may be too afraid to do,
Mm.
like start a rock band. um that
That didn't
it's
stop Rage Against the Machine though.
it didn't stop Rage Against the Machine. But you know yeah, uh what I also like about the punk movement is that they care about a lot of things happening. They care about what's happening to everyone that they meet.
Mm.
Like, since everyone comes from such different backgrounds, they strip like who they are away, and in that moment they're just punks. And eventually, you make friends, and you realize that, hey, we might not believe in the same things, but if something bad is happening to you, or if something bad is happening to anyone, then it's really it's really part of us to care. And that's what I like about being a punk, and applying that to the bigger spectrum. I think a lot more people are caring, like, nowadays, especially since you're seeing a lot of these new things unfolding online.
Mm.
You know that the
Right.
world's messy. Like, although punk is messy on its own right,
Yeah, it's kind of messy, but
it's like that the weird opposite kind of thing. It's messy, but it gives you like a clear idea of what's happening around you, and
oh yeah,
you know, it,
because you're
it,
exposed to so many different opinions and points of view that, yeah, like, it's just sometimes it can be too much, but
Right.
that's just, I guess maybe that's why a lot more people are feeling more like, they have more strength to be who they are.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Especially with things going on right now. Like for me, honestly, this is like where people like us, are more needed now than ever. for everything that's been going on in politics around the world, for everything that's been going on, like like the way history did it, all the greatest artists came out when everything inside the world just decided to burn everything, and just decided to what, screw you guys, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
What happened with what happened with the Black Plague. That's where the Renaissance came out,
Yeah.
and that happened. And for things like what happened with Russia and Ukraine, what's happening in Sri Lanka, for all those things, people may see what we do as something not necessary, something that can just be done on a whim. But like we've been discussing before, like earlier, like those are the types of little things that are gonna matter once it's gone. So people are gonna need more artists. People are gonna need more musicians. People are gonna need more events like these, like podcasts like these. Just have a talk, sit
Yeah.
down,
I
discuss
think
everything, and just like act like a human being. You know, put down the walls, bear your soul out, respect it, and maybe we won't be so different. Maybe you know it's just there's just some things that get in the way, but that shouldn't come to a surprise when oh, maybe we do have some things in common. Maybe it's not just between the skin. Maybe it's not just between the language barrier. Maybe it's more than that. So just keep an open mind about it.
Right. So the last gig which I saw you guys live, one thing I liked about that was you guys had like you guys were there, and then Fragments were there, but there was like also rappers on the
oh
same
yeah.
same lineup, right?
Yeah,
So which was like it feels like it's bringing like communities together, right? Because otherwise it will be like just rap events and then rock events, but here it's everybody's there. And then I probably I get to listen to some of these rap artists, and then I would go back and check like who is this, and so it's a really good thing. I kind of start seeing this happening a lot now in the Manila scene, right?
yeah.
I th- um actually before I don't even remember like in other shows I've been to this year there have been DJs.
Mm,
Um so I don't really remember seeing that many DJs after shows in the past, but like here we are now and it feels great because I think slowly people are beginning to realize that hey, despite the fact that we're all different genres, maybe we can actually like each other's music. Um and
I mean,
maybe
yeah,
other
we all
people are
share
like
the
us
same
too in that
stage.
way. Yeah,
mm,
like it's not just one genre that people may like people have their guilty pleasures and people have their other genres that they listen to less than others, but they still like it. um,
It feels good after like the pandemic
mm.
that it used to be like rap had a different stage, rock had a different stage, and like
yeah.
jazz had a different stage. But now it feels like everybody's just like we just want to play with anybody and we want to celebrate music together. Doesn't matter
Everyone is a
where.
frustrated musician.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh, Probably because everybody just wants to get a gig as much as possible. It's
Yeah,
it's 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 a it's a it's an amazing time we live in right now where we don't feel that divide in our scene anymore. That we can feel comfortable playing with heavier people. We can play with more pop inclined people, more rappers and whatnot. Where before we used to just play with people who
people in
sounded,
our scene.
yeah, exactly. So it feels good to meet new people every time we play.
Yeah.
Right. So guys, now that I mean, things are sort of opening up, and so what do you guys looking forward to this year, and what's the plan? Any new music coming out from you guys? What's the plan?
We have a bunch of new music. Currently either currently recording or still in the demo process. But for the latter part of this year, I think we're just gonna write and record, and whatever comes to mind, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna be released for next year. In terms of new music, though, we're I think we're releasing two more songs this year, right?
Yeah,
Or
Yeah.
more.
August and October.
Yeah, August and October.
One of the songs actually you heard us play during
Yeah,
the Social House gig. Yeah,
yeah.
it's called
We're excited
Pacemaker,
for that.
and yeah, we
Right.
actually just finished tracking like last night.
Yeah, that's why I had the setup there. But
You guys finished tracking last night. I was
oh, he
done.
finished last Monday. Like he just took an hour to record all his drum parts. Like, oh, here, and they're all like, it was good. Like I said,
Yeah.
he's a god.
I don't
So
know.
yeah,
Maybe
that's
maybe I
that's
captured it on video because I recorded some of your songs on during that show, but I still haven't posted that yet.
yeah,
What
that's
else?
fine. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
all right. I mean, when are we gonna be releasing Pacemaker?
August.
It's gonna be
Next
soon,
month.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
August. Yeah, so
next
that's
month.
like next. Oh yeah, yeah, it's almost next month. It's
It's
almost
almost
next
next
month.
month.
It's
Yeah.
Almost,
it's
yeah.
and then yeah, we have one more. Like that the one last song we're probably gonna be releasing. That's actually one of my favorites.
Yeah,
The
it's one of my
you know,
favorites too.
that's one of my favorites too. So um keep a lookout for those two. And Rob, is there anything else that we have planned for the rest of this year? As far as I remember, we do apart from the song releases, right?
uh,
We still have to play Guitar Hero.
yeah, we still have to play Guitar Hero, but like
Yeah, that's one.
just just check out our socials and you'll find out what we have planned for the
Oh
next
yeah.
few weeks, months. Yeah.
Right. So, guys, what's your message to the people who's going to watch this video and listen to this conversation?
Hmm. I I think you're cool. uh, no, seriously, thank you for watching. It really means a lot that you sat here. Like, if you made it to this part of the video, that you sat here and listened to us ramble about anything and everything all at once. Um, but at the same time, um, just know that whatever you're feeling right now, it's not going to last forever. Um, it's not going to last forever, and there's a life out there, and it's so worth it for you to just grab it, like take every opportunity you can, because you have the power to make this life beautiful, and I believe in you, and we all do. I think we all do believe in you. Just feel free to reach out to anyone you're close to if you need help.
Yeah.
They'll willingly
Everybody's in
listen
the
to you.
same boat, so might as well get in on the ride while you still can.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't sink.
Right.
Remember,
Oh,
kids, Punk's not dead. Punk's not dead. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Far
and
from it.
please listen to us. We don't know how we're gonna financially recover from our life decisions.
Right. Guys, anybody you want to shout out to?
oh no. We wanna shout out the open door artists, people who manage us. Kiguji, Waisa, you guys are awesome. We wanna shout out actually Sir Inigo, the
Oh yeah,
studio
Yeah,
Ian records his drums at Banana
the
yeah.
reason
Rising.
why I became a god.
Such a great name for a studio too.
Yeah. So
Um,
check out Banana Rising where Sir Inigo works.
yeah, I'd also
And
like to give a shout out to Sir RJ. Thanks for mixing some of our songs in the past. Um, Such a great mixer, by the way. Who else?
shout out to Jill for keeping us together and in check.
Shout out to Joe. She is our number one fan and our road manager. So thank you. Thank you for being awesome. Um,
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's all for
Yeah, I think
us.
that's all for now.
Yeah, but most of the time, normally you would forget somebody, right? So
Yeah,
it's normal,
probably.
right?
We apologize in advance for that.
Yeah. So guys, tell everybody like how they can follow you, where they can check your music, or where they should check.
Um, we are at Fugu Musk everywhere except for Twitch, which is Fugu_Musk. Yes, we do live stream some games every now and then. So if you want to see us be nerds, then feel free to check us out there. But um, on everywhere else, we're at Fugu Musk
Yeah.
on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Telegram. I don't know.
Don't forget to check out our Spotify for new releases and YouTube for our lyric videos. We usually post them on the same day as the release.
Yeah.
If you guys have like
So
a visual guide to our journey through music.
Remember to hit like, subscribe, and share the joke lang.
no, actually, you do hit like
Yeah,
and
please do.
subscribe. I think
Yes, please
you're
do.
gonna put this on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, this will be
okay,
okay.
okay.
Right.
Yes.
Smash that like button. That's I'm not. Don't put that in. Don't put that
So Ralph, Ian, so thanks for joining the podcast, and thanks for I contacted you guys, and then thanks for answering it and then coming on the podcast. uh really appreciate it, and then really enjoy talking to you guys, and I hope to see you guys live more. So I hope there will be some gigs happening,
Oh
uh
yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
nearby, so I could go, not in Quezon City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so all the best with your plans, and when you have new music, you please come back again and we can talk again.
Sure. Sure.
Sounds
Yeah,
fun.
of course.
It was
Anytime. It's
such
always a
a.
joy.
It was so fun to be here. Thanks for having us.
uh, Thanks guys, so have a great day ahead.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.